So what was that decision like when, because I think you're right. I think even for immigrants, non-immigrants, to make that decision and that leap to go from a 9-to-5 job to fully focusing on your entrepreneurial endeavor or on real estate, what was that like for you? Can you describe that?
Well, it wasn't easy. Let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Because most of the people, they look at the end story like, oh, he got something. Oh, he is where he is right now. But to be there, to go there, oh my goodness. First of all, because we met in 2012, you guys back then, you had a RIA, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had a real estate networking event. And this was actually, let me go back a little bit. Our first class we took was in Green Bay, Wisconsin, from that package we bought. And it was wholesale.
Okay.
So, in 2012, I'm telling you that almost nobody knew what wholesale was. All the attorneys were saying, oh, it's illegal. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that, right? Now everybody's a wholesaler nowadays. So they're telling you, oh, you just go, you just put it under contract, you sell the contract, you make $5,000. So like, woohoo, $5,000, right? Easy.
Yeah, easy.
Then you came to your RIA because they said, go back to where you're coming from. Find your local RIA, connect with people, start networking, meet people, So we found your RIA, and we came. And we kind of started connecting with you guys more and more. And I remember back in the days, we had a conversation with you. And you said, so what is your goal? What is your strategy? And I was like, oh, wholesaling. Of course, wholesaling. This is the only class I took so far. Well, I
give you a lot of options.
Yep. I never done a wholesale deal in my life. I purchased a lot of properties through wholesalers, but I think it's just a lot of work, to do the marketing, to do the negotiations with sellers, to kind of find your buyers, to do the whole transaction. I'm like, well, I want to keep that deal for myself. I don't want to give it to somebody else if I find it. So moving forward, I was doing the watchmaking full time, and I was doing the real estate part time initially, right? And you guys had the coaching program back in the day, so we signed up with you, and we did 3 deals together, right? So I wanted to make sure that this is something that my wife and I we want to do. We flipped 3 houses with you guys. I mean, I think they were successful. They gave me kind of the courage to to move forward and to believe in myself. Of course, my wife, she has a master's in behavior science, so it's a very different field than the real estate, and she decided to go that route. So yeah, we did real estate probably for a couple of years together, and now after that I started doing it by myself. I really, really, really wanted to get away from the watchmaking because you're so limited. I mean, doesn't matter how good you are, you still have 2 hands and you have 1 bench. How many watches you can repair per day? How can you scale that? How can you transfer your skills to somebody else so you can actually produce more, right? Have that passive income coming to you. It wasn't possible. So then I had the opportunity to work for you guys as a project manager. And I'm telling you, at that moment, when I received that phone call from you that you guys are looking for a project manager, there was no second thought. My boss received, yeah, absolutely. My boss received a 7-day notice that I'm leaving. And I told him, I'm not satisfied what I'm doing. And, I didn't come here to work for somebody. I was straightforward,
Yeah.
And what did I know back then to be a project manager? Let me be honest, right? But you guys said, okay, you're gonna learn. Okay, so I'm gonna learn, and that's how I started kind of full time, in real estate.
Nice. So there wasn't you weren't sweating walking out your last day, wondering if this is a big mistake or anything like that.
Never. But one thing, I had to talk to Lori because I knew that it might be kind of I might have a little time without income to support our family. So I had a conversation with Lori, and at that point she just started her business, and she was kind of making money, so we were okay. We were still renting a 1-bedroom apartment. We didn't have any kids at that point, so I mean, we could have survived on her salary. Let's put it this way until I figure it out.
Yeah. So you built that bridge first, had those conversations, and then took the leap. That's smart. So you came on, you worked for us for a while. This was back when I was with my previous company, Eye Candy Homes, and we were doing a lot of flips. And so you came on and helped us a lot grow that company as a project manager. And then I went on to form Greenvet Homes, which focuses on rental properties. And at that point, you went on too. And so how did you transition at that point? Like how'd you decide what you were going to do next?
Well, with Eye Candy Homes, we were doing 100% flips, right?
Right.
So this is what my mindset was like, a flipper. So I find the property, I'm looking for the margin I'm looking for. Back in the days, of course, 2013, 14, 15, the margins were like kind of bigger. I had to be realistic with my margin. In 2016, 17, the margins kind of went down kind of a little bit. So I was targeting 20% return on investment versus our 35% back in the days, right?
The good old days.
Yeah, correct. And same thing, nothing new. Looking for properties, looking for building relationships with people, connecting with a lot of brokers, wholesalers, networking with different people. We were able to acquire quite a bit properties, and we flipped quite a bit properties. We lost money only on one. Only because we were ignorant to check schools and certain things. But it's okay. It happens. That's good. That's good actually that it happens. It kind of opens your eyes a little bit. Like, oh, wait a second. I have to follow my system. I have to do everything right. And you see what happens. So I kept doing the same thing. Looking for properties, finding the properties, flipping the properties, and so on and so on.
Hey, really hope you enjoyed this section of the interview with Boyan Salha. For the entire interview and others just like it, you can listen to the Living Off Rentals podcast on any podcast player, or you can ask any questions and continue the conversation in the Living Off Rentals Facebook group. I hope to see you there.